Insulated fittings are an important aspect of electrical installations, particularly when dealing with conductors of size 4 AWG or larger. When these conductors enter a cabinet, box enclosure, or raceway, they need to be protected by a substantial fitting that provides a smoothly rounded insulating surface. This requirement aims to prevent damage to the conductor's insulation, which could lead to electrical faults. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, addresses this in section 250.154F. The reason for this requirement is that larger conductors, especially when subjected to bending or pulling during installation, can have their insulation damaged by sharp edges or rough surfaces at the entry point of an enclosure. A damaged insulation can create a path for current leakage or a short circuit, posing a safety hazard. Now, there's an exception to this rule. If the conductors are separated from the fitting or raceway by substantial insulating material that is securely fastened in place, then an insulated fitting is not required. This means that if you use a material like an insulating bushing or wrap the conductors with insulating tape at the entry point, providing adequate protection, you may not need a dedicated insulated fitting. Another exception exists with threaded hubs or bosses that are an integral part of a cabinet, box enclosure, or raceway, provide a smoothly rounded or flared entry for conductors. In this case, the design of the hub or boss itself provides the necessary protection, and a separate insulated fitting is not mandated. These hubs are typically designed with a rounded or flared edge to prevent damage to the conductor insulation as it passes through. It's also important to note what the code says about conduit bushings made entirely of insulating material. These bushings should not be used to secure a fitting or raceway. Their primary purpose is to protect conductors from sharp edges, not to provide mechanical support. Securing the fitting or raceway requires separate hardware designed for that purpose. The insulating fitting or insulating material used must have a temperature rating that is not less than the insulation temperature rating of the installed conductors. This ensures that the fitting or material can withstand the operating temperatures of the conductors without degrading and compromising its insulating properties. For example, if you are using conductors with a 90 degrees Celsius insulation rating, the insulated fitting or insulating material must also be rated for at least 90 degrees Celsius. The proposal to extend this requirement to grounded conductors was rejected for a few reasons. Firstly, the grounded conductor in the multi-wire branch circuit does not carry the same level of fault current as the ungrounded conductors. While it's true that grounded conductors can carry current, especially in multi-wire branch circuits, they are not typically subjected to the high fault currents that ungrounded conductors experience during a short circuit. Secondly, the exception for threaded hubs or bosses already provides a level of protection for the grounded conductor that is deemed equivalent to that provided by an insulated fitting. Since these hubs offer a smoothly rounded or flared entry, they minimize the risk of insulation damage to both ungrounded and grounded conductors. Thirdly, conduit bushings constructed wholly of insulating material are specifically designed to protect conductors from sharp edges, regardless of whether they are grounded or ungrounded. Their purpose is to prevent insulation damage, not to secure fittings or raceways. Therefore, the NEC maintains the requirement for insulated fittings primarily for ungrounded conductors of size 4 AWG or larger, recognizing the different fault current characteristics and the existing protective measures for grounded conductors. Remember to always consult the latest edition of the NEC and local regulations for the most up-to-date requirements and interpretations. Proper installation and adherence to these codes are crucial for electrical safety and preventing potential hazards.